Up with Krim begins now.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on Up with Krim. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. Today is the Idaho primary election, so we do have Up with Krim team coverage for you all morning long to help you get ready to cast your ballot. Krim 2's Nicole Hernandez is in our Up with Krim Election Center. She is breaking down the key races. And Malia Kamal is live at the Kootenai County Election Office letting us know how they are working to keep the election secure.
But before we get to them, let's head over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who's giving you a look at your morning forecast. Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, Channing. Good morning, Tim, and happy Tuesday to everybody watching from home. It is looking pretty nice outside. You're probably getting quite a bit of sunshine streaming in through the windows. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but going to be a really nice day overall. If you do have any lunch or afternoon plans, maybe the kids are going to enjoy recess outside for today. A little bit of cloud cover just starting to stream in, but the winds aren't too bad as of right now. About a 10-mile-per-hour wind. Temperatures low to mid 40s across the inland northwest as of 7 o'clock this morning. Now, I mentioned some cloud cover. Here it is on Doppler radar. You can actually see that on the satellite layer where it is starting to move now into northeastern and eastern Washington overall, but not seeing any kind of rainfall or radar returns from this small little weak disturbance that's passing through. So yes, some more cloud cover, but no, not expecting any rain for today. Instead, our temperatures once again into the 60s, a rather nice day overall. Looks great for Tuesday. How about tomorrow? Not so much. I do think we're going to expect some rain and some wind and cooler weather for Wednesday, and we'll cover that coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, all this morning on Up with Krim, we are getting you ready to cast your ballot in the Idaho primary election. And Governor Brett Little's position is on the docket. So this morning, Nicole Hernandez joins us from the newsroom, breaking down who's challenging Governor Little for his position. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Channing. So there are 11 people running for governor in the primaries today. 8 are Republicans, including our current governor, Brad Little, and our current lieutenant governor, Janice McGeachin. Shelby Ronstadt is the only Democrat that's running in this race. Current Governor Little has been in office since January 2019. This is the first time in Idaho history the lieutenant governor is challenging the governor. Little and McGeachin have publicly criticized each other while in office over the years. When the governor leaves the state, the lieutenant governor gains temporary authority over the state. Twice now, McGeachin used that power to put in executive orders against some of Governor Little's COVID policies. Little did overturn those executive orders as soon as he got back to the state. Now there's a whole list of other races happening in today's primaries as well that includes U.S. Senate and House seats as well as Attorney General. In the newsroom, Nicole Hernandez, Krim 2 News.
Now, before you head out to vote today, make sure to double check your polling location, as many have changed since the last election. You can actually look up your polling place on the Idaho Elections website. All you need is your home address. And if you're still unsure, you can then contact your county elections office. Now, just a reminder that voters are required to have a form of photo ID and that today's polls will be open from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Well, Idaho election offices are getting ready to open up for a really busy day. Many offices, including Kootenai County, are expected to count primary election ballots throughout the day and night. Krim 2's Malia Kamal is live at the Kootenai County Election Office right now this morning with more on the steps they are taking to ensure the security of your ballot. Good morning, Malia. You spoke to them. What did they have to say?
Good morning, Tim and Channing. Yes, I spoke to the clerk, Jim Brandon, and he says that they are taking extensive steps and it's just to secure the ballot.
We have long taken security as a very important function of the elections office because every illegal vote nullifies a legal vote.
Now, the election office uses watermarks and timing marks on ballots to ensure the authenticity of your vote.
So if a ballot would show up, it would be impossible to duplicate the ballot because it wouldn't have the watermark. We also have timing marks on the outside of the ballot so that they cannot be duplicated, so otherwise they won't run through the tabulators.
Now, Brandon also showed me that there were several cameras throughout the building that give folks 24/7 live stream access to the room where they count the votes. This is the office's way to build transparency and trust within the voting system. Now, If voters need to register to vote, you can still do so at your local polling place. Just bring your ID. Now, Brandon also tells me in his decade or so of service that he has had to prosecute 2 people for voter fraud, and he will do it again if he has to. Live in Kootenai County, Malia Kamal, KREM 2 News.
For all the information on what's actually on your ballot this election, you can text the word VOTE to the number 509-448-2000. We'll send a link right to your phone.
The Moses Lake Police Department announced they have found the body of Yanira Cedillos. She went missing in the early March of this year. Now, police believe that Cedillos' ex-boyfriend Juan Gastelum killed her in her own apartment. Cell phone location data from the suspect's phone led police to a remote area in Walla Walla County off of Highway 132. The 30-year-old left behind 3 young children who are now living with their grandmother.
This is a difficult situation for them. Yes, it's bittersweet. We found Yanira, and the family now has her and can lay her to rest the way they choose to do so, but it's still, they've lost a loved one.
Yanira's family says their lives have been a living nightmare since she disappeared. Yanira's sister shared a statement with KREM 2 saying in part, "Life will never be the same, and we don't know how we will move on without her, especially her kids. But we find comfort knowing that she is resting and God will walk us through the painful days ahead." The suspect currently remains in jail in Oregon. He's awaiting extradition back to the state of Washington.
The FDA is expected to authorize Pfizer's boosters for children ages 5 to 11. An official close to the plan says the authorization could come as soon as today. Pfizer requested emergency use authorization for its boosters at the end of April. The company claims its data showed a third vaccine dose raised Omicron-fighting antibodies by 36 times in those ages 5 to 11. An advisory committee for the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is also expected to discuss COVID-19 vaccine boosters when they meet on Thursday. And more free at-home COVID tests are now available from the federal government. Each residential address is allowed 3 orders or 16 total tests. This is the 3rd round of available tests from the White House program. You can request them at covid.gov.
It's time now for your morning rush. More news in less time. Stevens County is looking for a stolen fire truck this morning. Now, the truck is described as a white extended cab with green striping on the side. Now, they actually discovered a second truck at the station with its batteries cut out. So if you have any more information about this, please call the Stevens County 911 Center. Their number is at the bottom of your screen. Well, the average price for a gallon of gas in Washington has topped $5 per gallon for the first time ever. The average price for a gallon of regular unleaded gas is up 20 cents from $4.83 to now $5.03. Now in Spokane, gas prices did not change that much in the last week, averaging $4.67 per gallon. In the meantime, at gas stations across Washington, aging fuel tanks pose an environmental risk, a risk that could take millions of dollars to fix. The State Department of Ecology says there are at least 2,500 gas stations in Washington which need to be cleaned up, and that adds up to some 10,000 tanks. In Whatcom County, one former gas station owner estimates it will cost him $3 million to fix those underground tanks.
Happening right now, President Joe Biden and the First Lady are visiting the Buffalo Memorial shooting. White House officials tell CBS News the president will call the shooter's actions terrorism motivated by hateful ideology, and that he will urge Congress to pass new gun control legislation. Investigators believe the suspect was in Buffalo to scope out possible targets. They say it also appears the 18-year-old planned to leave the grocery store to find more victims before police captured him. Investigators say the suspect wrote an online post where he described himself as a white supremacist. 10 of the people killed were black. 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield was the oldest victim. Her son says she was buying groceries after visiting her husband at a nearby nursing home.
We're not just hurting, we're angry, we're mad. This shouldn't have happened.
The suspect pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder over the weekend. He is scheduled to be in court on Thursday. It was a busy night for Spokane City Council as they made a major step in the development of a new homeless shelter.
Two teenage farm kids from Eastern Washington created this album 43 years ago. And you can tell this record has been through quite the journey.
There's the practice place right there. That's where that album was created. Donnie would be here until midnight, 1 in the morning.
To hear my family members on something that you could maybe buy in a store, that was pretty special to me.
From a bargain bin at a Spokane antique store all the way to Hollywood. The whole story coming up on the CW22.